open the box to the grill and see what it looks like. Someone needs to sharpen their knife. Diggity dang. Okay, so I was a little worried when I ordered this because online it looks a little different than I would expect or than mine did. So let's hope for the best. I'm glad to see that that is in there. And oh wow, it looks like it might already even have the chrome pieces on it, maybe. Okay, so this is the back of the packaging, as if you needed to see that. So I got this out, and it does look, you know, like a piece of plastic. So we'll see how that goes when I get further in. Come on, tape, work with me. All right. Something slippery or sticky? Something sticky. All right. Oh man, it does already have the chrome pieces on the front. And it's in sexy black. It looks like the right one. Have to see it on a car. All right, time to take the broken grill off. I did this once before, but I also cracked it, so hopefully I remember how to get it off there. I gotta get this next too. It's all chipping and coming apart. If I remember correctly, that guy there, that guy down there, and I believe that was it. Okay, so the last time that I did this, I had the hardest time getting these little things out because I did not know exactly how they came out. I'm used to the ones that have like a little nub in them and you can grab them easily and pop this thing out, and I could not get this thing up for the life of me. So if you have a really small screwdriver or something that you can get under there, or if you have long fingernails, that helps, because then you can pull it up, pull it out if you want to, and then pop that other guy out. Anyway, that's what that looks like. And the little piece that goes in separates it out, spreads those teeth so it doesn't come loose. So that's how it comes out. And then when you go to put it back together, you just push that guy back down in there and then put your plug back in. You can probably leave the plug partially inserted like that because it doesn't start to do anything until it gets further down. So anyway, I'm going to pop that out there. Okay, so that little bolt right there that got to go out, and that one right there that got to go with it are both 10 millimeters. So I went and snatched me up a 10 deep. The deep wasn't long enough. It's still, the ratchet would hit, so we still need an extension bar, and this is close side available. So I'm gonna go with that. Need to get this guy out still, but it was not cooperating. So my fingernails aren't long enough, so. I think trying to get this out like that originally is what led to me believing that it did not come apart, because man, those things are hella stuck in there. Alright, so got that up a little bit. Now let's use this guy. Bloop. And be careful, because when you go to pop that guy out of there, you can lose it and shoot it way down into this shit, or even over that edge, because it sometimes will pop out with a lot of force. So Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so once you have that bolt out and this bolt out, it should essentially just kind of lift out, but there is a lip on the bottom, and it is hooked over that lip. And I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a little piece right there that if you stick a screwdriver or something up in, there's a little piece right there that will release. And you want to push that up and get it over the lip for the bumper right there, which I should probably be doing with something other than my knife. Okay, so I'm getting this thing off here, and like I said, it's got a little tab in here that you need to push up and be able to scoot it back. And when you do, the bumper cover right there actually has a little lip in it as well that you can see. That's what you're trying to get it over. So it's a combination of lifting it up and getting it over that while this part stays down. It can be a little bit difficult. So what I did was I took the screwdriver and twisted it sideways to kind of create that gap, and as you can see, I kind of marred my paint right there just a little bit with it. So be very careful. About to do this side, and I tried it with a much smaller screwdriver, but it didn't really do anything. So see, as you lift it, it's like the bumper cover from the inside lifts as well. So it's a delicate process, be careful. Okay, so once you get the nubs pushed in on those two sides, there's also one right here, just to the right of the emblem. Basically under this star point, there's another one. And that one's actually visible from the back. You can see this clip. So basically, if you need a guide, look in the back side, and any of those spots where you see that little silver clip like that is where one of those is going to be at. Now once you get two of them off, you can basically twist it forward, and then what I did was I stuck my hand under here, and you can grab this piece and peel it back until you can pop it off. Once you do, you can clearly see the nub there, and here that you have to get over. So that is what you're trying to accomplish to get it off, and then once you do, it'll pop right off there. Now I can replace the broken grill. Okay, so once you have the grill completely off, obviously you can flip it over and see the back. From the back side, it is a little discouraging to look at this because you can see they've literally melted those plastic pieces. Thankfully, you do not need to take off any of that. What you're actually looking for are those tiny silver tabs that are hidden down in there that you can barely see. Like there's one right down there. And what I'm going to do is take a skinny flathead screwdriver, and you go around and you push in each one of those tabs, and the emblem will pop off from the front. And that way you can take the emblem off. My new grill already has the chrome bars on there, so I don't think I'm going to need those. But if you did, then you would take and undo each one of those little tabs, basically. Let me take this inside because it's already hot out here, and I want to set this on a surface where it doesn't get marred, and then I will show you how to take out the emblem. She looks funny with no grill. Thankfully, that's temporary. Okay, so now that I've got them off and I've got them both inside, you can tell a difference. I didn't realize before how big the holes are on this one compared to how small they are on this one. But honestly, I think this one's probably going to look better. I know it's going to look better with the gloss black and the rest of the car as well being gloss. And the chrome bars on this one are just a little bit bigger as well. Yeah, I like it. Let's transfer the emblem. Okay, so inside with the air conditioner, because I'm in Texas. Alright, so like I said, a tiny screwdriver, and this is because you basically need to be able to fit it down in between. some of these tiny slots and whatnot to get in there all the way. So, really, it's really not there, but you know, there's one here. And I'm gonna move this up so that way if the emblem pops out, it's in my lap and not hitting the floor. But boom, and you just hear it pop, and it's got a little resistance to it. But for the most part, after the first one pops out, the rest of them really are just kind of hanging in there. See, like you can see the emblem's already essentially off. I only had to pop out like 4 of them. But that's what you're doing, is just gently from the back, just pressing that tab down to get each one to pop out. Boom. That's how you get your chrome emblem off, to transfer it. And then it leaves you with that. Okay, so the new grill comes with the mesh in there and comes with this piece to put in. And this piece basically, I mean, it's super self-explanatory. It's got 3 holes in it and 3 little nubs that stick up out of the back. So basically you just push that guy down in there and make sure it's secured in there nice and flat, so when you go to put the emblem on, the emblem sits on there correct, and you can feel each edge to make sure it's flush. And what you want to do is you really want to push it down in there really tight. Have something maybe pressing on that section from the bottom, because then you've got these little plastic nubs that stick out. Okay, right, one there, one here, and one right here. Now, do not break these off. You're supposed to melt these, and when you melt them, it creates basically the stick of them staying in there. Now, I would recommend using a soldering iron. I have successfully installed stuff in the past, such as interior cloth pieces, by wrapping a piece and then melting the material like into the plastic with a quick burn, and it melts the plastic enough to hold it. You can do the exact same principle here and secure it on there. I've got a soldering iron that has interchangeable tips, so I took out that one and I'm about to put in that flat one right there, and then that way I can control the meltdown on it. Yikes, that guy is still surprisingly hot. Note to self, change out the tip before you accidentally turn it on. And now I can turn it on. This beast gets so hot so fast. It took no time at all for that thing to reach like insanely, do not touch me, hot. Be careful. Alright, let's do this. Okay. Now remember, be really careful with this, because this shit is going to be hot as sin. As you can see, look at it melt that down. So, put a little bit of pressure on it, make sure it's pressed down tight. I've got a little bit of a shop towel below here, and allows me to melt it, press it down, and that one should be nice and tight. Let's see if we can move you visually to this next one. Same thing. Cut some of that one off. It's a little bit long. Okay. And then let's melt it down and make it stay. All right. Last but not least is this big guy, which also is very long. So I'm actually going to cut some of that guy off. Doesn't need all that extra on there. And then we can melt this down much more easily, gracefully, and beautifully. So there you have it. Those three are now melted down in place. Let me set down my torch safely and I will show you the front. It's now nice and locked in place, and there is no wiggle or vibration with it whatsoever. So that's now installed and we're ready to snap on the emblem. Let me just grab that. Okay, now that it's all clean, so you'll notice there's a tab right there on the back, little shark fin, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, you make sure that that lines up and goes into one of them there. And hopefully, the rest of your tabs line up appropriately. Okay, so first and only problem I have encountered with this grill, and that is that the tabs to mount your emblem back on, those 6 little tabs that stick out there, they do not line up on this. So unfortunately, this grill does not work without modifications if you plan to reuse your emblem. They might sell one that snaps directly into this. I did not look because I had no intention of buying another one since I already have one, and knew how to get it off without destroying it. So this is going to require modifications. I'm either going to have to cut these tabs off and glue the emblem on, or I'm going to have to cut my own slots all the way around this so that way I can drop this in. Problem is, once I do that, I don't believe that there will be anything on the back to actually retain it, and then I'll have to rig something up. So all in all, happy with the grill until I got to this part, and now because I've mounted this and melted the back, I can't return it. So FYI. Okay, so I got it a lot closer, but it is still kind of hovering. So I actually ended up breaking off those little tabs on the bottom of the Mercedes emblem just because they were never going to line up, and I don't have anything precise enough to cut the new tabs that I need around here. So I'm just going to shave those off and then mount the emblem to the plastic, I guess, with maybe some epoxy or chewing gum. I'm not sure. Okay, so to get the rest of these tabs off, I am basically using the same process that I used to melt down the plastic on the back of the new grill. I'm just using the soldering iron to melt down this plastic and essentially cut it right off of there. And in doing so, I can shave it down to where it's completely flat, and what's not flat I can gently smooth out or melt away with the iron. And once it's completely flat, then it'll sit down on there, no problems whatsoever. Alright, so took me a while, had to cut the tabs off, get it all cleaned up. I went ahead and sanded all the chrome off the back of the emblem, and I'm using a 2-part bonding system. This stuff, Loctite, it's supposed to work for all kinds of stuff, but yeah, this first piece right here, number 1, and then the glue is in that one. Number 1 is essentially like a marker. It's a primer system that you go through and you prime both pieces of plastic, and then you just put glue on one of them. So I did that, and I went ahead and taped it all in place and eliminated the gap, so it's all flat and everything against there. So yeah, hoping that that will hold it down and I don't get out of my truck one day to find out that it flew off. Okay, y'all, so once you go to put the grill back in there, what you want to do is put your hand to install it back. What I did was I put my hand under here on that little piece and then held the bumper from the front and pushed them together, because you have to get that piece to push over and basically go over that little hump that's in the front that you released in those 3 spots. So if you push from the back while pushing up here as well, you can push those 2 together and you'll feel them snap. Then once you do, it'll be in the right spot for you to be able to put that bolt in, this bolt in, and then these guys should line up perfectly with those holes, and you can go ahead and put in those quick pieces, and then basically that's it. Your grill is remounted and reinstalled and looks better.